Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. That appears to be the mind frame of the reigning NBA champions Cleveland Cavaliers after a huge game win in Game 4 against the Golden State Warriors after being down 3-0. We will continue to evaluate the ups and downs of the pivotal championship series during today's show. In addition, we will discuss the non-workout dinner involving potential Knicks draft pick Dennis Smith Jr., as well as other Knicks news. Lastly, during the NBA and Sporting News Weekly Review, we will discuss LeVar Ball's recent comments in which he reportedly stated that he wanted all of his sons to be one and done, which means Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball. And we got various other interesting topics to talk about. This is episode 27 of our podcast, known as Knicksfandom. As always, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope our listeners out there are doing fantastic. It's great to be joined by my co-host, Danny D. How you doing, Danny D?
I'm good, LA. How's everything going with you, man?
I'm good. We back on the air. As always, I'm pleased to be joined by my fellow co-host, Flo. How you doing, Flo?
LA, I'm great. How you doing today, man?
I'm all right, man. All right, fellas. Well, let's get it started. The 2000 NBA Finals. So far, the Warriors lead the series 3-1. But the Cavs, I stated at the top of the show, came with an impressive victory in Game 4 and stayed off elimination by defeating the Warriors 137-116. The Cavs set 2 records during this game. Their 49 points were the most in a quarter in NBA Finals history. In addition, the Cavs set an NBA Finals record with 24 three-pointers made. Since our previous podcast in Game 2, the Warriors won convincingly 132-113. And in Game 3, the Warriors had 11-0 fourth quarter comeback that ended in a 118-113 victory. Therefore, as I previously stated, the Warriors now lead with a 3-1 lead. Game 5 scheduled to be played at Golden State on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what are your overall thoughts so far regarding this series, Flo? Starting with you.
LA, I'll be honest with you. I think this NBA Finals have been boring. This series should be 2-2. No reason why that Cleveland should have lost Game 3. They were at home. They had a nice lead, and they just self-destructed. You know, they couldn't stop 2 guys when the game was on the line, which was Durant and Curry. Those 2 guys went on an 11-0 run to close out Game 3. Shame on Cleveland. They had that game in the bag. They should have won it. Shame on them. So because of that loss for Cleveland, now they're behind 3-1, where the series should be 2-2. They got a lot of work to do going to the Oracle Arena in Oakland Monday. A lot of work. But this series has been boring. Really boring.
Yeah, gotta agree with you on that one. The last game was pretty good though. That was a lot up and down, really physical. Guys was getting into it. What you think about it so far, Danny D?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Talking about the finals, you had a couple of blowouts in the beginning, and it got competitive for the third game. But, you know, like you guys saying, and like Flo said, Cleveland does have a lot of work to do. I really think that Game 3 game was a better game because everybody played balanced, kind of. What I'm saying that because now they blew Golden State out, and Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green had a bad game. As opposed in Game 3, when they had a higher margin, they only lost by 5. If Kevin Love would have played a little better game, they would have won that game. So for Cleveland to abstain to score 137 points, I don't think they're going to be able to shoot 24 threes on Game 5. And offensively, you don't want to run up and down with these guys. Like El said, like Flo said, you got to slow the ball and keep the game down probably in the low hundreds and the low 90s to get a W, because it's going to be hard for them to score another 137 points against the Warriors on Monday.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that, Danny D. And basically, I gotta agree with both of y'all in this respect, but it's just weird to me, Tyronn Lue, what he's doing. It's like he's still trying to play their game, like you just stated, and you lucked out last game. That was Dayfield Warriors game right there. You broke the record with threes, most points in one quarter. So tip your hat on that one, but you're not gonna win the series playing like that. You're just not. You don't have enough weapons to do that. So it's like, all right, you won that game, but got a little more physical. That's what I really want to see, because you saw a couple of times LeBron was posting them up. You've seen that with Love and things of that nature. You need to get back to more of that. Just get more physical down there. Curry didn't play well again. So it's like now it's starting to get in their head a little bit. You see Draymond Green almost got thrown out. We may talk about that in the whole referee situation, a lot of the bad calls. Did Steve Kerr get the first technical? Then they changed it up. I don't know. A little weird right there. I know the NBA wanted this series to go further, but things like that make you start, scratching your head, folks. But, we'll see how as we go along the show. Have y'all been surprised by anything thus far in the series? Starting with you, Danny D.
Surprised? I'm just surprised that the first couple of games was not competitive at all in Cleveland. For Cleveland, and you had a lot of guys who were supposed to step up, and then it shouldn't be a surprise because Kevin Love's been a choke artist since last year, so I shouldn't be surprised with that. And also, J.R. Smith having a couple horrible games in the beginning, but like you guys said, and like Flo said, and like LA said before, when their backs against the walls, that's when these guys want to start playing. I'm like, you get into the final, you should be on hiatus, you should be ready to play from the get go, not when you're down 0-3.
Exactly. You shouldn't need more emphasis on trying to play better at that point. I don't know what's the problem with that. And what you think about that, Flo? Thank you, D.
Oh, just to add on to what D mentioned, I think the biggest surprise for me was Cleveland was able to win a game playing Golden State style, trying to keep up with them, run and gun. I think that's the biggest surprise in the series. Knocking down 24 threes, that's another surprise.
No, very true. Very true. I didn't expect that either. I was surprised with Game 3. That was a big thing how that ended. I thought that was the game for Cleveland to win. I turned my head the last minute. Next day I woke up, it was like, oh, this series is over. I thought JR had won it, putting the guns back in the holster. So just seeing how they came back at the end with that one, that was a surprise. I thought Cleveland had that game, definitely. And like you said earlier, D, the series would look totally different if they had won that game right now. But now I think you keep going like this, you're getting in their head a little bit. This next game is going to be pivotal, though. Because, if you lose, you're out anyway. But if you really get this game, you're really going to have the pressure switching back to, I think, Golden State at that point. Because now you got the home team losing at home. And as they always say, series really didn't start to the home team loses. So that's something to see. But who y'all think going to win Game 5? Starting with you, Flo.
LA, I'm going to go 103-100. J.R. Smith hits a game-winning 3 at the buzzer. Cleveland will win Game 5, and Golden State will close it out in 6 and back in Cleveland. And honestly, like you mentioned, LA earlier, Cleveland to really take control of the series and win some more games. They need LeBron and Kevin Love to post up against their guys, KD and Draymond Green, respectively. That's very important. Get those two guys in foul trouble. Also, Cleveland needs to slow the pace down, like Dee mentioned. Run more half-court sets. Cleveland got to control the pace of this game. Very important for Cleveland to make sure that their transition defense has to be excellent. Make sure Golden State don't run. That's very important for Cleveland. And just continue to dominate the rebounding. They have the advantage in the rebounding. And get more physical. LA, you mentioned this in the previous podcast. Cleveland is the more physical team. They got to impose their will on Golden State. They really haven't done that with the exception of this previous game that they won, Game 4. They got to impose their will. They definitely got to impose their will.
Totally agree with you, Flo. Thank you. What about you, Danny D? What you think? Who you think gonna win Game 5?
I'm going with the Cavs once again. If it's a close game, I think the Cavs will buckle down and try to steal one at Golden State. It's an elimination game for them, and they're just gonna go down fighting. You're gonna have Tristan Thompson's gonna have to control the post down there, box out, try to do everything because you're not doing anything offensively. Just control the paint, get down there, get gritty. LeBron's probably gonna go down in the post and do what he has to do, and hopefully Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson have a off night once again. Be scared of miss some jump shots and don't score in the 20 and high 30s. Keep them in the teens, and they should try to get this W on Monday.
Okay, thank you, Danny D. I agree with you. I think Cleveland's a hungrier team right now. They're getting their little edge back, and that's what I expected to be in the beginning of the series. I didn't see Golden State as being this juggernaut as they keep talking so much. I thought they had some weaknesses, and now they're starting to really exploit a little bit of them. You're seeing Curry struggling, and that's the thing. Curry is a great player, take nothing away from him. But if his shot is not dropping, he's not that same effective player. He just doesn't do as much stuff. Even with his 10 assists he had in that game, he had 4 turnovers as well. But he only shot the ball, I think, 4 for 13 and like 14 points. So Draymond Green, to me, he's been struggling as well. He only shot 6 of 16. So it's basically Kevin Durant's show, and that's not going to beat Cleveland. That's not going to beat Cleveland with LeBron and Kyrie playing like they played their last game. And that was like one of the best games I've seen LeBron play and Kyrie at the same time. LeBron throwing the ball off the backboards, you know. They look ready, man. They look hungry. They was fighting. They was arguing. That's what I want to see. Get it down and dirty, man. Get it that way. That's how you're going to beat this team. Or to give yourself a chance to beat them at least. But what else do you think this series, how will affect the NBA future? In the near future wise, with maybe like transactions, upcoming drafts, or, you know, trades. I'm hearing a lot of stuff in the trade rumors depending on how this series is. So what you think about that, Danny D?
You already know what it is, man. Listen, if the Warriors wins this, it's going to be an arms race. It's going to be an arms race. Who's going to get Paul George if he decides to leave? Who's going to get Gordon Hayward? Teams are going to ante up like they're going to a gang fight. Because that's what I'm saying. That's going to be the number one thing. Expect no expectations now. It's going to be it's going to be like the Wild Wild West. You're going to have super teams trying to get together to try to beat one team. And the NBA balance is going to be off. It's going to be the same two teams playing in the finals for the next 4 or 5 years if the Warriors win. Because everybody's going to try to team up now. Nobody wants to be alone, be the main person on their team, because they're like, I don't got enough help. I can't do it by myself. The Warriors got 4 or 5 all-stars. How I'm going to do it by myself? So I got to team up with everybody so we can start winning.
And he up. That's how they said it. Thank you, D. What you think about that, Flo? How you think this series is going to affect the NBA in the near future?
Just to add on to D's point, what you're going to see is you're going to see teams like D mentioned. They're going to go after Paul George. You're going to have teams probably going to try to go after Blake Griffin via free agency. You're going to have teams try to offer a lot of money, go to Hayward. You're going to see a lot of teams, try to go after, believe it or not, in a trade, either Boogie Cousins, with the Pelicans. Overall, my opinion, I think teams like the Knicks, Brooklyn, or Philadelphia, they need to do well in the draft and find that next superstar in the draft him, develop him, and try to build a championship roster so that by the time LeBron gets older and by the time the Warriors get a little bit older, regards to Draymond, Curry, Durant, as these guys get older, hopefully the Knicks and Philadelphia and the Brooklyn Nets, hopefully they'll be able to have a championship contending team. That's the goal within the next 5 years.
I hear you, but the tough part about this is even if that happens, if all these guys keep teaming up, it's going to keep going to the teams that's already established. Because LeBron, like he's slowing down no time soon. I think he could play 4 or 5 years more if he look like unless he just decide he just don't want to play anymore, or injury happen. You hope that doesn't, but if that's the case and these teams just keep stacking up, it will be no parity in this league right now, So, but do you think, let's say Cleveland shockingly, miraculously comes back and win, will that make any difference how they going to go forward with that? Starting with you, Flo. With the arms race.
Say that again one more time. One more time.
With the arms race. Do you
with
think
the arms race?
Yeah. If Cleveland comes back to win, do you think that's going to affect that, or you think it's still going to go forward in that direction?
I think they're going to try to maybe upgrade their bench. If they come back and win this series, they'll probably upgrade their bench. They'll probably take a look and see if they can move Shumpert. I think that'll be the number one guy they want to move. I think they're going to have to stay with Love. I don't think they're going to get rid of him if they come back and win this and repeat as champions. I think they have to keep Love, but Shumpert might be the guy that has to go. They might look for an upgrade at that position.
But what about other teams? Do you think they're still going to say, I got to go Kevin Durant route in order to beat LeBron in them? Or you think they're going to say, okay, I don't have to do that?
Like I said earlier, all these other teams, I don't think they should be trying to add more superstars on their team, because they got to realize Golden State and the Cavaliers, to me, those are the two best teams that's going to probably be back in the finals for the next 5 years, every year, for the next 5 years. I think they have it shut down. It's locked, ready, and loaded. They'll be back in the finals every year. You just got to accept that. All these other teams, they shouldn't even try. The Torontos of the world, the Boston Celtics of the world, they shouldn't even try, in all honesty, to try to build a super team. Even though Boston will probably have the advantage going in because they got the number one pick in this year's draft and they got some pieces. But keep in mind, they got a lot of free agents coming up in the next 2 years. Avery Bradley Jr., Isaiah Thomas. So it's going to be tough for them. They can try to compete with Cleveland, but I still think it's going to be tough for them. They're better off just trying to just stick with the team that they have and just try to hopefully wear down Cleveland. But I don't see Toronto competing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't see a team like what's the other team what's this team off the top of my head? Oh gosh, I don't see a team like Atlanta or Washington trying to compete with Cleveland. I don't see it. I think all these teams should just really just surrender.
Oh man, I don't agree with that part. I see where you're coming from.
Listen, they gotta surrender. Like D mentioned before, and I believe he mentioned in the last week's podcast. You gotta adjust this team right there, man. So the competition is not fair. It's really not. These two teams are they're superpowers, Cleveland and Golden State. So how can you compete with that? You can't. You really can't. Look at Cleveland. Look at Cleveland right now. Look at Golden State. Golden State finally lost a playoff game. It took them to the NBA Finals just to lose one playoff game. And then look at Cleveland. They lost one in the Eastern Conference Final. It's going to be hard for these teams to compete with those two teams, respectively. Maybe San Antonio. It's possible. It's possible. In Pop I trust, but again, they got issues with their salary cap. So it's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough.
I hear you. What you think about? Thank you, Flo. What you think about that, Danny D? You agree? Disagree?
Are you talking about if Cleveland wins?
If Cleveland wins, do you think it's going to keep moving this direction, or you think it's going in that direction?
It's going to keep moving because, like I said, you're going to have superstars, and the main goal. What's the main goal? Why did KD leave? Oh yeah, I'm wrestling because I want to win championships. That's what that's what franchises want to do. You want to win, and you want to win championships, and you want to sell out arena to make money. That's what they're going to do. Because if I'm a player on the Brooklyn Nets, if I'm a player on the Knicks, if I'm a player on the Philadelphia, and I know my team is not going nowhere, sign me out. I don't want to be here no more. I want to go to a team that contends. I'm Carmelo. I have a no trade clause. We're going to send you here. Why do I want to go there for? Nah, no thank you. I want to go to the team that's going to be contender, like the Clippers or somewhere, so I can team with some guys and win some championship, because that's the name of the game right now.
I totally hope that's not true. I feel where y'all coming from, and I do agree. It looks like we going that direction. It just makes me think of that Newton third law. They say for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Different premise, same concept. But I think after you saw what happened with Boston on a smaller scale, LeBron felt like he couldn't beat them like that without doing his own little mini team. LeBron took it to a whole new level from a superstar player doing that. I hated it then. I still hate it now. Then you see KD thought the same thing, basically. I can't get by these guys, so I'm going to take it to even next level and go to a championship team with the best record overall in the whole NBA history. So now you're seeing teams like, well, now I need Paul George. Really? It's like, when does it stop then? It's like, this is nothing going to be watched. And then I hear some fans, I don't know, it's the different fans you got nowadays. I don't know, y'all hearing it too. We all talk. And it's like some fans don't really understand like the loyalty and the history of these teams. And I heard some shows talk about it. Even KD wins this. To me, I don't know how you could really enjoy it the same way as a Dirt and a Whiskey did. I saw Colin Cowherd talked about that. And plays of that caliber, or Patrick Ewing if he'd have won. So I'm like, you cannot look at it the same way to me. Even as a fan, I don't know how you really enjoy it to the same way. And then people say, you just go, it's their job, let them do that. What's the problem? It's free agency. This is what it's all about. It's not just your job. This is not a job where just like every other job you got in the regular real world. This job affects people, fans. Nobody goes to their job and 10,000 people watch them do your job every day. Nobody cares what you do your job with that. But there's a reason they have things that's legalized monopolies. They broke up Mon Bell for those reasons. You can't have people just all over the place coming to different corporations. As you be talking before that, Danny D, and you were saying, even if you go to another team or another corporation, what they say, non-competing clause.
Non-competing clause. We're going to sue you, bro. You can't do that.
But now you're doing this with two teams like Flo said, and basically you're going to be looking at this for the next 5 years. Unless you're a Warriors or Cleveland fan, I don't know how you really want to watch this. Braves might be good now, but believe me, 4 or 5 years, people going to be tuning out. Who want to keep watching? This is not the same thing as the Lakers in Boston. You had smaller teams. You had lesser teams back then. You had teams back then, back when Red Auerbach days, you didn't even have free agency. So it's a totally different thing with that. And now you got teams with this, and you got parity. You got even more teams you have to deal with, which means you need even more talent spread around. But you compact them all on 2 or 3 teams, and you expect this to be competitive.
Guys, sorry to interrupt, but guys, are we taking it back? Are we taking it back? Is it history repeating itself? Because back in the day, didn't the Celtics win 11 straight or something like that?
And who's that great for? Celtics fans?
See what I'm saying? 11. I said 11. I wasn't born at the time. 11 straight.
But even then, you didn't have free agency, and you really couldn't trade players like that. It was all up to the agency. The organization controlled all that. So that was a big reason why that happened back then. There's no reason that should be happening now. This is like AAU teams now. I wanted to play my friend, and this is the same group gonna keep going throughout. Even if you did this in the park and you played in the park or YMCA or somewhere, you don't put all the best players on one team. You let them 2 dudes be the captain. You don't let this. I'm not feeling this at all, man. Not at all. But I don't know. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. No, that's what I said. And then you know what it is. And then it's not. And then I really think it's not fair. Not complaining like that. If I'm just coming as a fan, it's not fair to the development of different teams. Because how do you know a team is going to be a really great or good? Because now that's what we're setting the standard. You're setting the standard, not normalcy. You're saying excellent, but the excellent is not really excellent because you have too many good people on the same team that shouldn't be on the same team.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Like if you have like a Philadelphia will never get to the same level as they can. You know how long that would take for Joel Embiid, Bill, all them guys to be that good to beat this team?
And then by the time they do become good, they're gonna leave. They're going to go to the other team.
They're going to go to another team to go win.
And that's the crazy part about it. Then they're going to say Durant is playing so great, so spectacular. This is the same guy who they lost 3-1 last year to the Warriors. All of a sudden, he looks so great. You know why he looks so great? He got many Western Conference All-Star team. That's why he looking so great. You put LeBron in the same team, they'll dominate the same way. I'm not giving no extra credit for getting busy on this team when you already got 4 or 5 All-Stars on the team, and they're going to say he playing so spectacular. He's playing great, no doubt about it. But it's always played great when you got a little mini Western Conference team with you. You got way more chances to mess up because your team around you is so much better to pick you up. That's not the same thing. It's like I'm just like people just ignoring that. It's like he's doing this thing. He gonna win the ring. Nobody gonna remember that. You may not. I will remember that, and I will not look at it the same way. I just don't get it. If it's not competitive, then what's the purpose of playing in sports at a certain extent? I don't get it. And what's your final thoughts regarding NBA Finals, fellas? Starting with you, Flo.
Hopefully, Cleveland can definitely pull it out, make this game competitive tomorrow, and hopefully get the W and extend this series.
Okay. How about you, Danny D?
I just am saying I want it to be competitive. I just don't want to see no more blowouts.
I agree. I just want to go at least take at least to 6 and see what happens and take it from there. Because I think if it go to 7, I think Cleveland going to pull up upset, guys. I really do. There's going to be so much pressure on Golden State knowing you was up 3-0 and you let this team come back like that. That'd be something to see, though. But we're a long way from that right now. But we'll definitely give you more update come next show. And by then, the championship should be done. So we're definitely going to speak up more on that. And that's it for this segment. And we're going to go right into our next segment, which is the weekly Knicks Roundup. Okay, we're back. Thanks again, Phil, for your in-depth assessments in the previous segment. And for our weekly Knicks Roundup, the first thing we have up as a recent report by ESPN staff writer Ian Begley, and the New York Knicks scheduled a workout on Wednesday with Dennis Smith Jr. Unfortunately, it did not occur, but Phil Jackson reportedly did have dinner with him. Your thoughts, guys, starting with that. Danny D, you go first.
I read the article and things like that. He had dinner. I heard that, what I read, they was eating, grilled cheese sandwiches and whatnot. I don't know what they was talking about, but it seems not to have a workout. I don't know. Maybe when I read from the article, they were saying maybe he's going to get signed by another team, that another team already said they're going to pick him up, or Phil likes him that much. He's not going to have him work out for him, and he already know that he's going to pick him. So I don't know what's going on, why he didn't work out to see how he's performing with the team. But then he works out Malik Monk and somebody else. So it's very confusing to me.
I hear you. What you think about it, Flo? Thank you, D.
Well, I think I'm disappointed that Phil didn't work him out, but it can only be two reasons. One, maybe Phil feel that Dennis Smith is going to be drafted by the Sacramento Kings, who need a point guard at 5, or maybe the Orlando Magics, who definitely need a point guard since they've lost confidence in Alfred Payton. So maybe Phil says, you know what? It's not worth working you out because we don't think we're going to drop that far. Or the second option is maybe Phil told him, listen, man, I don't need to see your game in person. I have tapes of you. If you drop this far, we'll draft you. This is a wink-wink deal. So those are the only two options I can think of why the Knicks didn't work him out.
Yeah, it could be. I hear you, Flo and D. I had to agree, but I'm thinking maybe he just want to get his mental capacity, the way how he interact, the way he think about certain things off the court. Because I heard some issues with him. Some people had he's not really a great leader. He's kind of moody sometimes, those type of things, and not always always playing the greatest defense and stuff at times. So maybe he wanted to add some things like that. And like D said, maybe it's he already saw his physical attributes, so he more just want to see how he is social wise and mental wise, see where he's at. But I got my ups and downs regarding Dennis Smith, Jr. Got great talent, but remind me a lot of a poor man's version of Derrick Rose, and we kind of seen a poor man's version of Derrick Rose here already. So I'm like, do I really want that leading the team with Porzingis? That's a different story regarding that. I mean, we can talk about that real quick if you guys want to. About what y'all assess Dennis Smith, where you think he is. Would you even like the Knicks to draft him? You want to go with that, Flo?
Well, and I don't know if, and I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast. I'm not sure, but I'll say this. I think Dennis Smith is a good player offensively. The problem I have with him is he doesn't play defense. His wingspan is actually shorter than his height, so that's even more scary. If I had the choice between Nicolita from Germany, 18-year-old kid, and Dennis Smith Jr., I'll probably go with Nicolita. And the only reason why I say that, he's 6'5", he's 18 years old, which means that you get another guy that you can develop around Porzingis. Now, if I had the choice between Jonathan Isaac, Frank Nicolita, and Dennis Smith Jr., I gotta go with Jonathan Isaac because you can't teach height. So me per se, I don't know. I'm not really that crazy in love with Dennis Smith Jr. Guys, you already know I love De'Aaron Fox. I think he's John Wall 2.0. Can't teach speed. I love guys that have a lot of speed. And this guy is that kid Fox is a kid that's gonna play 48 minutes hard, 48 minutes up and down the court. He's gonna be aggressive in your face. You can see he takes pride in his defense. I don't know if Smith has that intensity. I don't know. That's why it would have been great if the Knicks actually worked him out.
I hear you. I agree with some of the things you said. I believe he's a nationality for France, though. And then right now, he's representing them. What you think about Danny D?
Yeah,
Thanks,
the
Phil.
same thing. And the only thing is, and guys, so I don't know Dennis Smith personally and things like that, but then we always prone of drafting people, picking somebody, and Dennis Smith, he had that torn ACL in that right knee. And when you start saying torn ACL and things like that, I shy away because you don't know how long he's gonna last. The college game is different from the NBA game because you're playing a lot more games. It's more physical and more intense. So you're gonna put all your thing on Dennis Smith Jr. and he had surgery on that right knee. You think that knee is gonna hold up? Not wishing him the best. I'm just saying, I don't know where he got the surgery and things like that. Everybody's 100%. He could be 110%, but it's a different type of pace, a different type of momentum, a different type of torque on that knee when you're playing in the NBA. It's just different.
That's true, and usually it makes you more weak in the other knee sometimes.
Yeah,
because you kind of compensate for that.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan for that pick. I mean, he has a lot of talent. I can't take that away from him. He's definitely a high flyer. And he definitely has the ability to score the ball. But he has some things you have to worry about, too. And I just don't know if he's a really prototypical point guard, which a lot of point guards are not that right now in the NBA. But he wouldn't be my first choice yet. I had to see what else is still available. But, the talent-wise, like you said, you can't take that from him, but you do have the injury issue. You do have the defense lapses, things of that nature. But thank you, fellas, for that. Appreciate it. And the Knicks also get a first-hand look at two of the top shooters in the draft after scheduled private workout with Malik Monk and Luke Kennard. I just want to get your assessment real quick on that. We spoke about that a little briefly. What you think about that, Flo?
Like I mentioned before, LA and D earlier, I don't think Luke Kennard is a top 10 pick. So the Knicks are overreaching and they decided to do that. And even if the Knicks were able to acquire an extra first-round pick, I'm not drafting Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, to me, is a guy that should be drafted near the end of the first round, around 25, 30, and into the second round. He's not a top 10 pick. He's not a top 20 pick at all. He seems like he's more of a one-dimensional player. I know, LA, you like his size. That's fine. But to me, he's just more one-dimensional. As far as Malik Monk, explosive. He can shoot lights out the building. My problem I have with him is I'm not sure how good he is defensively. I would love to see him more in person to get it just and see if he can really commit to playing defense. Also, I'm curious to see if he can play the point guard. Because to me, I think he's undersized playing the two guard in this league. If he's gonna, to me, he reminds me of like a Lou Williams, Ray Allen type player coming off the bench. I don't see him as an NBA starter. And if you're Philadelphia, I know they need a shooter. I don't know if I would be drafting him with the third pick. And that's going to be a lot of expectations for him. And I don't question whether Malik Monk can handle that. I think definitely he learned a lot from Calipari in Kentucky. But thing is, once again, he just lacks the height. That's my biggest problem I have with Malik Monk. If Malik Monk was 6'6", 6'7", oh, man, I'll be all over him. Definitely. I'll be like, definitely sign this kid up. Draft him quickly. But he's 6'3". He might be 6'4", but I don't know. But I think right now he's legit 6'3". I just wouldn't draft him. If I'm the Knicks, if he drops to 8th, I don't think I would draft him at 8th. I really don't.
Okay. Thank you for your assessment, Flo. Appreciate it. What do you think about that, Danny D?
The same thing. It's either, guys, if we with the Knicks, what we talking about? We either want a guard or we want a tall wing. Malik Monk, athletic, he can play stuff like that. But as a guard, can he be a guard to make other people better? Can he lead a team? Can he lead the Knicks and transfer to be a point guard? I don't think so. Luke Kennard, the guy's a shooter. He doesn't play defense. A good shooter and things like that. He's on to do as exposed as a spot up shooter. Athleticism. I don't know if he's going to be dunking on people, but we don't need that. We need Isaac. We need somebody who's going to be a tall, two-way player that can defend and get their own and create their own shot. And I don't think he can do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I agree with your assessments. Kennard, he's a scorer. He's nice size for a two guard, but like you say, he's not physical. He turns over the ball a little bit, and he doesn't really have that oomph. He don't really have that really good hops. He's not really going to get to the basket so easily. A lot of times he, if you watch him, he loses the ball when he gets right to the basket. He don't even get to the basket a lot of times. He gets like 3 or 4 feet in front of it. He's not really strong enough or quick enough or has the great hops to get to the basket a lot of times to lay it up. So he'll take a little weird little fadeaway or use another hand. Those things you have to worry about down the road with him. I really don't see the growth the same way for that type of high pick. And also the same thing with Malik Monk. To me, I'm thinking if you're going to be undersized two guard, you got to have two things. You got to be able to shoot the rock. He can do that. But you also have to be able to play great D. If you look at Joe Dumars, you look at Avery Bradley, those guys are short, but they were tremendous defenders at the time. Avery Bradley's still now, But Monk really doesn't do that. He has lapses. He's very short for a two guard. He's only like 6'3". And also, to me, his consistency on D is not great either. If you watch him a lot of times, it's like the intensity, the consistency is not there all the time. He gets beat by the quicker, bigger dudes sometimes, but he can flat out shoot the ball, which is great. But once again, the Knicks are not at that level right now. To me, I think you need more players, of 3-and-D type players, especially if Melo's going to stay. You need somebody else going to help them defensive-wise, team-wise, and that's not Malik Monk, not right now. And unless you really think he'll be some Steph Curry type player, I don't see the purpose of drafting that high. If I could get him with, if the Knicks get a second pick, what they talking about trading Courtney Lee, maybe you'll get him with that, but I wouldn't go that route with the first pick where they currently are right now. And, that's it for regarding those two guys. I just want to get y'all thoughts on that. And does anyone else have any topics they'd like to discuss regarding the weekly Knicks Roundup? Oh, I'll just move on to the next segment.
LA, I just want to ask you a question. I don't honestly see. I don't think it's worth my while to trade Courtney Lee for Malik Monk. I don't see it. I can't do that. I really can't. It's not worth it.
What about the cap space though?
Not for Malik Monk. It have to be somebody else. It's got to be like a guy like maybe like a Justin Jackson of North Carolina. It's got to be somebody else. Not for Malik Monk. I can't do that. I can't because Courtney Lee has the size, unlike Malik Monk. Courtney Lee is more, you know what you're going to get from Courtney Lee. Monk, again, he's going to be a mystery because you're going to try to figure out exactly what's his natural position, which I think is two guard, but he's undersized. I just wouldn't trade Courtney Lee for Malik Monk. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do it. As much as I like Monk, I wouldn't do it.
Okay. What you think about it, D? You agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Even though Monk is a lot younger, but Courtney Lee, he's in the league and he's a lot taller, and Courtney Lee does play defense when he wants to.
Thank you.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking if I could get that deal for that pick and I know Monk is there, Courtney Lee making like 11, 12 million this year coming up. That's 11 million I could use on somebody else, especially if I add that with the Rose deal. I don't know. I have to think about that if I knew he was sitting there before I make that trade. If I could get rid of that contract and add that to the Rose space, you could actually get a pretty good third play to go with Melo and Porzingis. Maybe that point guard you really want. It might be worth it. You have that and the 2 draft picks. I don't know. I might have to think about that one. So, but we'll see as time goes by and see what we think about that. Anything else you want to add, Flo?
No, I got to the Knicks now.
Okay, no problem. Anything else you want to add, Danny D?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thank you, guys. And we're going to go to our next segment, folks. And that's right now, our NBA and Sport and Weekly News Review. And Cal Boone of the CBSSports.com, ESPN.com as well, news service reported that LeVar Ball recently reportedly stated that he wanted all his sons to be one and done. Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball. Therefore, in essence, LeVar would like for all his sons to sign with the Lakers in order for them to win championships, and more championships, as they previously did in high school. Your thoughts, guys, starting with you, Flo.
Well, I believe the next kid that's ready to start college is going to be LiAngelo, and he's a shooting guard. So I don't have a problem with that. That means that he's hoping that his 2 other kids don't get drafted. He's hoping that the Lakers could just sign them as rookie free agents. I'm fine with that. I think he feels that his kids could win a chip together with the same team. He wants probably the Lakers to build their own little super team like Golden State is doing right now and somewhat the Cavaliers. I got no problem with that. As a parent, like LeVar is, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, we're going to disagree with this one. What you think about Danny D? Thanks, Flo.
Listen, I see what he's trying to do, but come on, man. Your son, I've seen who the second son that's going. If you read the quote, what he said, he's like, yo, man, even if he does, this is when he's having doubt in the second child that's going. Because he's like, even if he does good or bad, he's only going to be one and done. You know what I'm saying? He's still going to leave anyway. Right now, his second son, I don't know if it's LiAngelo or Melo, because they all sound the same to me. He has projected to have his son as basically being a role player. The younger one is just grown up. I think LiAngelo is like 6'3". But are you telling the league? Are you telling the Lakers? Or are you asking the Lakers? It's 2 different things. So you tell them that they're going to draft your sons? They don't got to do anything. First of all, your first son hasn't even played a game yet. Worry about that first. That's one. Secondly, how about them getting a college education and then using the degree at UCLA to finish their degree and things like that? And think about ball, because first is the education part, then ball. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But I don't know. And then you can't equivalent a high school winning championship to the NBA. Those are 2 different things. 2 different things.
I totally agree with you on this time, D. I'm like, it's like Icarus. You're going too close to the sun, man. Calm down. You can't just try to decide the same way that you did back at Cheeto Hills and stuff, man. This is the NBA. It's already you pushing Lonzo. That's cool. I know you want to push your sons. I hear you. But you're trying to get them all on one team. Who said that they want them all on one team? There's no guarantee they're going to win. This is not high school, man. And it's the same thing. I think on the younger one, who I think they kind of say is like Steph Curry on LaMelo.
Yeah, the young one. Yes. Yeah.
The guy that dropped like 92 points in high school and all those things. He's a guy. I wouldn't mind him going if he keeps progressing like he is, but it's still so early. And it's like, who said they want to be one and done? Especially the middle one, if he's not as good as the other two, he may not feel like I need to be here and get as much skill-wise and much experience I can get. I don't have that same ability, so maybe I do need this degree. Maybe I'm not going to be the guy that's going to dominate the same way they will. Maybe I need to go the other route. Don't put all your stuff on them like that. You're doing too much with that. If they want to do that, fine. But now you're talking about they're going to be one and done. No, it's like you're going too far with that stuff, man. It's like calm down. Let them do their thing. Let them see where they progress. And like you say, it's not all just about the basketball in that respect. If they got the ability, they're going to progress anyway. But sometimes not even about when you go. It's about where you go. Like he might be a better off player going late, going with a better coach who's going to use him better, you know? So it's calm down. Lakers may not be the best spot for all of them. I know you want your little dream thing, but it's like take it easy a little bit. Anything else you want to add with that?
No, you're saying that too. And then like you said too, what if he don't want to go? What if I don't want to go to UCLA? I got a full ride. What if I don't want to go there? I can go to another school that fits me better. I fit in this system a lot better. That gets my strengths and my contribution to how I play. Exactly. UCLA might not be a fit to me.
Exactly. That's why I say you're going a little too far, Icarus. Going a little too far. But any final thoughts regarding NBA or sports in general, fellas? Starting with you, Danny D.
Oh, listen, guys. Flau. You hear Flau?
Yep. Yeah, I'm here, bro.
LA, man. LA. Listen, guys.
Yes, sir. We
got to get ready for the 2020 Olympics. You know why? Because they put on 3-on-3 basketball in the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. We down. This is ours. We're going to take that gold, baby. That gold is ours, baby. What's up? What's up? We in there, son. What's going on? We getting this gold. I'm going to try to see if we can sign up. And when we sign up, NBA players, y'all shouldn't be able to play, but we taking this one. Knicks-Fandom, we getting this gold in 2020 Tokyo, guys.
That's it, man. I'm down for
it. That's it.
Can we get some
backups,
for
it, man?
We need some backups. I don't know if I can play all the minutes, man.
It's not no minutes, you know what I'm saying? As long as KD don't bring, Klay Thompson and Steph and Draymond Green, I don't know how that's going to work, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to get this gold medal in the 2020 Summer Olympics.
Oh, man. I hear you, D. I hear you.
How you feel about that?
That's a nice thought on that one.
They put the international committee, they put that in there. It's going to be a 3-on-3 basketball. I think that it's going to be in indoor arenas, but there's no 3-pointers. I think the insides are going to be worth 1, and the outside are going to be worth 2 points. I don't know what they're going to go up to, but they're finalizing the rules, how it's going to do. But it's definitely going in the 2020 Olympics. And they got some other stuff that they added, like freestyle BMXs and things like that. I ain't with that. I'm with this 3-on-3 basketball.
I got you. Might be Ice Cube might bring some of his people down there if they let him. Yeah. I don't know. You got his tournament coming up too. But thank you, Daddy D. Much appreciated. How about you, Flo? You got anything else regarding NBA or sports in general?
LA, I just wanna remind the listeners that according to a report by Adrian Wojciechowski of Yahoo Sports, the Philadelphia 76ers are interested in a defensive guard. The guard that they're really, really they're in love with is the Boston Celtics guard, Avery Bradley Jr. Guys, I want to know what's your take on this in terms of what do you think would get Boston interested? Well, let me correct that. What Boston would demand from Philly to give up Avery Bradley Jr.?
One thing is I know he's coming up free agency soon too, so he may not have the money to sign him like you were saying previously. I thought he's the one guy that might be leaving anyway. But
exactly.
What do you think about it, Danny D? Thank you, Flo.
I'm trying to think of what pieces, because I really don't think Philly has anybody that can give up, really, because they want to keep that young core intact to get Avery Bradley. I don't think whatever Boston probably wants for Philly, I don't think Philly is going to want to give up.
I hope that same old trade they keep talking about Yarick and the big center dude they got over there.
Okafor?
Okafor. I hope they ain't trying to keep throwing that out there. That's what I keep hearing.
I don't even think Boston needs that though.
They may. I don't know. They want another big guy, and the other guy might be another Rookie of the Year candidate. He played pretty well this year.
So yeah, Sark plays, but that's another. That's a good look. Yeah, to give up. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it happening, y'all. Yeah, so he gets busy. I just don't want no parts of Okafor.
I hear you, but I don't know. He might do better in their system. I mean, they got Kelly Olynyk. I think he's better than him.
They don't have a big squad. They have a big up. That probably look good. Get those two. That's a good little squad right there.
You get Stevens getting in his ear. Maybe might be able to get the talent out of him. I don't know. I'm a big Bradley fan, but he's another guy. I just wish he was 2 inches taller, man. He'd be really great with that. What you think about it, Flo?
Yeah, Russ, that's like D mentioned. I'm not too sure what Philly has that Boston will want, unless there's a draft pick. I don't know what's out there. I know that Boston has to figure this out between the two guys in regards to Isaiah Thomas and also Avery Bradley Jr. Both these guys being free agents next year. They got to figure out they got the money to re-sign these guys.
No, I hear you. I definitely hear you.
Don't forget about Jay Crowder. I think his is coming up soon too, right?
I'm not sure with Crowder. I think it may be. I'm not sure. So I don't want to say yes or no with that one yet. But they're another team that's like always one piece away, right now. And they really need that veteran player. Like I really would want to go after Hayward if I was them. That's the guy I really feel like, he's maybe that last piece. I keep hearing Jimmy Butler, but I think Hayward would fit a little more better with them since he's he's formerly was coached by Stevens as well. So I think that also would play in it as well. And anything else y'all want to add to the NBA sporting news today, fellas? Okay.
No.
All right. And I'm just checking one thing real quick. Crowder, I believe he has 2 more years, I think, till 2020. Okay. So he got 6. He has a really cheap contract. Come to think about it. About 6 years, $6 million 2017, $7 million 2018, and $7 million 2019. So they got him for a little bit more in a cheaper contract, so it might be a reason they may hold on to him, thinking about it from that perspective. But also, one thing we're going to be talking about later on, a future, depending on how this series ends, is maybe another look at that Wiggins trade. So make sure y'all listeners stay tuned to the Facebook page as well. It might be an upcoming article. We're going to discuss that a little more on the podcast. So stay tuned with that because I really want to go over that again down the road. Depending on how this series kind of ends up going, which direction. And maybe there was a little short-sighted in regards to that. As always, fellas, appreciate your in-depth assessments as we come into our closing remarks. And starting with you, Danny D. You got any closing remarks for today?
I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. Thanks the fans and the listener. Keep on subscribing and keep on sharing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Very much. Appreciate you, bro. How about you, Flo? Any closing
remarks? I want to thank all the listeners. Please continue to tell a friend. Subscribe to the show. I want to thank my brothers, LA and Danny D, for allowing me to be part of this great show, Knicksfandom, which is a great show for Knicks fans and all NBA fans around the world, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Flo. And next week, we'll have our final coverage of the 2017 NBA Finals and our complete in-depth review of the individual lottery picks and our sleeper picks for the upcoming NBA draft. So make sure to tune in. Much appreciated as always, fellas. I couldn't do it without you. Big thanks to our dedicated listeners. Please continue to subscribe, share, and leave a positive review on iTunes. Make it a good one. See ya.